those belts down tight one more time, warm up those tires, hit your marks, and let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, and NHRA Racing Talk. This is the Championship Racing Network. Now here is your hosts, Steve West and Matt Nicholson, with producer John Myers.
What you call that? There's your award right there, kids. This is a peer-recognized award for the state of Alabama. For the state. And I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
I'll leave it at that.
Turn my microphone on. And the thing about it is, we talked about this during the Cross Flags podcast this week. This award right here, yeah, it's presented by the Alabama Broadcasters Association. We appreciate them immensely. And obviously, we appreciate everybody up here at Cumulus Media that's helped us out, both on the Talk 99.5 side and our sister station, Jocks.
Absolutely.
But this right here is not judged on by people within the state of Alabama.
Nope.
All those entries, TV, radio, podcast, whatever, they're all sent out of state, and they're judged by people from outside of the state of Alabama, well outside of the state of Alabama.
Yep.
So, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And say thank you, again, to everybody and all of the support that we have gotten. Because, think about it. Cross Flags is going on almost 2 years now.
Yep.
And we appreciate all the support. We really do.
For sure.
All right, let's get into it here by talking about what happened on the track last weekend, get you up to date here. Speaking of the IHRA, they were in action at Virginia Motorsports Park last Saturday. Top Fuel, Gary Pritchett against Scott Palmer. Pritchett, quicker reaction time, Palmer crossing the line first. 3.075 second elapsed time, or ET, 207.54 miles per hour. Seems kind of slow for Top Fuel.
That's that 1/8 mile.
Real short.
660.
Yeah.
The 1/8 mile.
Yeah. In the end, you kind of start thinking about it, and that's actually kind of kicking it. Then you go to Funny Car, Del Worsham taking on Dale Creasy Jr. It was practically even off the light. Creasy began to pull away. He gets the win, 3.194 ET, 278.4 miles per hour. Leads me to believe something kind of went loose and wrong with both Pritchett and Palmer in the Top Fuel as well. To the points, Gary Pritchett leading Jasmine Salinas, who is also running some NHRA this year. But Gary Pritchett's in the lead by 24. Scott Palmer's third. Lee Calloway, Spencer Massey filling out the top five. Funny Car, Dale Creasy, a 23-point lead over Terry Haddock. Del Worsham, who also runs some NHRA. He's in third. John Smith, Jacob McNeil in the top five. As things go along here, I think we're going to see more of this, where we see and hear of drivers that are running both NHRA and IHRA.
Yeah, there's going to be probably a lot more crossover than what you expect.
I think so, yeah. To the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, they were on the track next. Saturday evening, Bristol Motor Speedway, thanks to kind of a bold call. Former Cup crew chief Rodney Childers, Connor Zillich stayed out. This kind of goes against the way of thinking at a Bristol, which can be rough on tires because of the concrete.
Well, when you bring a compound of tire that's built like a brick that doesn't wear out.
There you go.
You know?
So he stays out on older tires with 28 laps to go. The tires not only held up, Zilich parked the car in victory lane. He did have to work for it. He had to hold off Moonlighter Kyle Larson, who had really the dominant car in the night. He led 230 laps, but he had to settle for second. Third, Brent Cruz. Pretty impressive run for the kid. I mean, it's Bristol. That's not the easiest track to get a hold of in this level of competition.
Well, Brent Cruz is not a slouch either. He's not a slouch, and he's in the equipment to get it done.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He's in Joe Gibbs Racing equipment. Justin Allgaier, Carson Kvapil, Sheldon Creed, William Sawalich, Corey Day, Parker Retzlaff, Taylor Gray fill out the top 10. Justin Allgaier holding your points lead over Sheldon Creed by just a slim 130 points. Ouch. Whew. Jesse Love is third. Corey Day, Carson Kvapil, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, Parker Retzlaff, William Sawalich, Rajah Caruth, and Taylor Gray inside the top 12. Remember, 12 make it into the chase from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Gray's got a 28-point lead over Ryan Sieg for the 12th and final playoff spot.
Yep. Going on to the NHRA, they contested the Winter Nationals that was next to kick off Sunday's action in Pomona. And then top fuel that came down to Tony Stewart. For new listeners, yes, that three-time Cup champion Tony Stewart. That's in drag racing.
Yeah, the one and the very same. Sorry, I felt like I had to sneeze there for a second.
Oh, you're good.
He took on Justin Ashley. Ashley beats Smoke off the light, but Smoke's car powers by from the 60-foot mark down to the finish line. 3.663 ET at 332.51 miles per hour. This marks Stewart's third top fuel win of his young NHRA career. First two came last year, one this year. Difference, we were talking about the IHRA running only 1/8 of a mile, NHRA running a longer track as well.
Yeah, NHRA goes to 1,000. Yeah, IHRA goes to 660.
So there you go. Ron Capps taking on Matt Hagan in the Funny Car Finals. Capps wins on reaction time. Hagan gets the overall win. Hagan is now your trivia answer to who won the 1,000th ever NHRA Funny Car race. Mm-hmm. He took the lead at the 330-foot mark, went on to the win, 3.876 ET, 330.39 miles per hour. Greg Anderson in the finals, the Pro Stock Car Finals, taking on Dallas Glenn. Glenn had an almost perfect reaction time, but Anderson was actually quicker to the other end. 6.505 ET, 209.88 miles per hour. Anderson claiming his 113th national event win in Pro Stock Car. Pro Stock Motorcycle did not run this particular weekend. In top fuel points, Doug Kalita leads by 4 over Sean Langdon, Josh Hart, then Tony Stewart in 4th, followed by his wife, Leah Pruitt, in 5th. I really hope that this isn't messing things up in that household.
Nah.
Probably not.
Doubt it.
Funny Car led by Ron Capps and Matt Hagan. They're tied. J.R. Todd is 3rd. Easy for me to say. 27 back. It's an early morning. I'm getting used to it. Chad Green, Jordan Vandergriff rounding out the top 5. Dallas Glenn leads in Pro Stock Car points by 31 over Greg Anderson. Then Greg Stanfield, Matt Hartford, and Erica Enders complete the top 5 there. And then we take it back to Bristol for the Cup Series, where it seemed like Ryan Blaney was going to be the man to beat. The thing about it is, and we're going to talk about this during the news, something somewhere is off with the 12 pit crew. And again, we'll get back to this, but they are consistently amongst the slower teams on pit road. All of this was the result of we ended up putting Ty Gibbs out front on that final restart. Green, white, checkered. And a lot of stuff can happen on a green, white, checkered finish, especially at a half-mile high-bank track like Bristol. But the good news is you're not worried about slower cars. You have a clean track in front of you.
Yeah, not on a slow dash like that.
Yeah, exactly. Green, white, checkered finish pushed the race out to 505 laps over the scheduled 500. Gibbs able to hold off Blaney over those 2 laps despite the 2023 champ's best efforts. So Ty Gibbs, the grandson of Joe Gibbs, gets his first career Cup Series win.
As many people that don't like Ty Gibbs, that are not fond of him, however you want to word it, you can't argue with that finish.
Mm-mm.
It was clean. They raced each other hard. But most of all, they raced each other clean. It was a clean drag race.
Yeah, it was.
Very clean.
Final top 10, Gibbs, Blaney, then Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano, Ryan Priest, Denny Hamlin, Carson Hocevar. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing a Toyota, a Ford, a Chevy. Toyota, Ford, Toyota, Chevy. This thing is dominated by Toyotas. When did they suddenly get the handle on Bristol?
I said this a few weeks ago. I don't think it's so much of a handle on Bristol. I think they've got a firm grasp and a firm handle on the 750 short track package.
That's a good point, because go back and look at what they did in Martinsville.
Look what they did at the 750 tracks all year.
That's true. Tyler Reddick continues his hot streak, starting up the season. 64-point lead over Ryan Blaney right now. Denny Hamlin's third. Ty Gibbs is up to fourth. Chase Elliott is fifth. The rest of the 16 that would make the chase right now, if if said chase were to begin right now, are Kyle Larson, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. Let's see, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, and then there's Shane Van Gisbergen. And Shane has had a pretty good start to the season so far. I will give him credit. But these two short tracks have hurt him. And he's dropped from at one point in time being fifth in the points, not bad for a guy who came in as really nothing more than a road course ace. But these two short tracks, despite the fact that he got the proper advice to run them like a road course, he slipped to 16th, and he's only 1 point up on Chase Briscoe for that final chase slot. And I think the other thing to think about is what Chase Briscoe has done. Think about race 1, where everything went wrong at Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good run in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then they go out, and they have a horrible day in race number 3. And Phoenix and Las Vegas were middling at best. So to go from the point where he was practically last in the points to now, just a handful of races later, be 1 point outside the top 16, that's a nice run for the 19.
They're getting a grasp on everything because, like I said, it's this part to the season so far has been dominated by the 750 package so far, and it's clear as day. Toyota's got it figured out.
And this weekend, preview of the schedule, they're going to Kansas. And
670.
Kansas is a strong track for Chase Briscoe. He likes that track.
It's a strong track for the 2311 cars. It's a strong track for the Gibbs. It's a strong track for Toyota in general.
It is. So doesn't look like things are going to go wrong anytime too soon. No. So let's talk about the slate for this weekend. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series kick it off, running the Kansas Lottery 300 at Kansas Speedway this evening. MRN Radio and the CW Network have the coverage, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Time. Sunday, 2 races among the series we cover. Cup Series running at Kansas Speedway up first. Advent Health 400, it'll air on Fox. Yeah, the main network. Go figure. And MRN Radio starts 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. And following that, Fox, proving that they could do this if they really tried, are going to switch from Cup coverage to IndyCar. They'll head out west for the running of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach on the 11-turn, 1.968-mile-long street course out there. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Central Time start time. Again, for those of you that are new to us, when it comes to the times that we give, because pre-race on radio and pre-race on TV tend to be a little bit different, we tend to go with just race coverage start time. So there you go. Amongst the other series that we cover, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, IHRA, they're all off this weekend, as is the Craftsman Truck Series. Mm-hmm. By the way, we got our own standings. And this will be kind of fairly new to you for those of us on the new flagship station. We got our own standings because we have our own CRN NASCAR Fantasy League, which is on NASCAR.com. And this is an opportunity for you, our listener or CRN Live viewer, to be able to take part in it. And if you happen to be the top finisher, if you happen to get beaten out by Matt or me, we still consider you the top finisher. But you're competing against us as well. And you're competing for a chance to win a CRN logoed hat and T-shirt. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, first of all, how do they sign up? How do they get into that, man?
Just go to NASCAR.com, Fantasy Live, NASCAR.com Fantasy Live, and type in CRN Fantasy Live 2026, and you can jump in and play with us.
Yeah.
Actually, starting right now. I mean,
and it's free.
Yeah, and it costs not a dime.
Yeah.
But as it stands after Bristol, which past few weeks I've been under the weather and had a lot going on and really hadn't had a chance to update it, and my apologies on that. But after Bristol, the top 10 as it stands is I'm just going to read them down as it stands, not get all the points.
Sure.
Leading right now is Trickle 99, Junebug 13 second, Jack 30 in third, Boom Slick in fourth, Chase B 99 in fifth, Steve is in sixth, I am in seventh, Fire Chef is in eighth, JG3 is in ninth, and Staceman is in 10th.
There you go. All right. So yeah, you can join in. Feel free to do so. And again, chance for you to win some CRN logo swag, hat, T-shirt. Although last year we made a deal, we cut a deal with our winner. They preferred a hoodie, so we got them a hoodie.
Yep.
We might be able to do that too. All right, Mr. Bird, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. And
one thing about beans at 8:20 in the morning.
Can't believe I actually pulled that old thing out. Wasn't really sure I ever would, to be honest with you. When we come back, we're going to talk a little IndyCar because they were recently at Barber Motorsports Park, but they're going to change some things around. So we'll talk about that, look into their future of maybe going from 17 or 18 races this year to more. That's coming up next, right here on CRN.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
Goings here of this edition of CRN here as we are 1 week away from Talladega. They're running Kansas this weekend for NASCAR. And way out in the Long Beach area for IndyCar. Everybody else kind of off this weekend. And we were thinking about something coming here to Alabama here soon, but looks like that's not going to happen. More on that in a moment.
Yeah, buddy.
First of all, I want to thank a couple of great sponsors here. One of them, Cat and Bird Winery down in Chelsea. They were very, very quick to jump on and be in support of us in this effort here. We appreciate them very much. Coming up in a little more than 30 minutes, actually, they're going to do some morning yoga out there. So they got an instructor out there. So if you've never done it, they got an instructor out there that can help you out.
Nope.
And then you can start spending the rest of the day out there at a beautiful spot.
Nope.
Hey, I get it.
Nope, not me.
It ain't for everyone. I get it. But if that's something that you're interested in, Cat and Bird Winery's got that, and there's constantly something going on there. In fact, here in just a couple of weeks, Thursday night, first Thursday night in the month of May, music trivia. I'll be your host. So things like that. There's constantly something going on. Check out Cat and Bird Winery on social media. Pick your choose. It really doesn't matter what it is, or just go to their Facebook, catandbirdwinery.com. You'll find out all the information there about what's going on. 11661 Old Highway 280 in Chelsea. Go down and tell them I said hello, or that you heard all about it on CRN Live. You never know. You might get a discount on your order if you tell them you heard it on CRN. Just saying. Could happen.
Gotta borrow a line. Gotta borrow a line. This will probably make John Bird laugh. Hey now.
Where have you heard that before, man?
I've heard it a few times.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
Couple times.
All right. As is kind of a habit now for us, and this was producer John on CRN Live on YouTube's idea a long time ago. Instead of just going same order, regardless of how big a story happens to be, take the biggest story of the week, regardless of whatever series it is, and move it to the front.
Right.
This actually came out yesterday, so this was a late change for us.
Yeah, it came out late yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, and this regards the IHRA, and these guys, first of all, let's give credit where it's due. Daryl Cuttle and the guys, they've been doing a great job of picking this up since they bought it before the 2025 race season began.
Yeah.
And they've expanded it out, and they have really done some great things with the IHRA. And they're going out and they're buying different facilities, and they're refurbishing them. Atlanta Dragway is one of them. Montgomery happens to be one. They were planning on visiting Montgomery, and we were planning on going down there. Turns out we're not.
Keyword were.
Yeah.
It came out late yesterday afternoon that the IHRA, in conjunction with the management at Montgomery International Dragway, made the decision to relocate the third race of the IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series and the IHRA Small Tire Brats Series from Montgomery, Alabama. This is reading straight off of the media release.
Yeah.
The event scheduled for May 7th through the 9th will take place at Durana Raceway in Hebron, Ohio, the old National Trail Raceway. They'll have a test session on Wednesday, May the 6th. The decision follows a recent shooting that happened at the Montgomery facility. While the situation is unrelated to the operations of IHRA, we agreed alongside the track leadership that relocating the event is the most responsible course of action out of abundance of caution. And it details everything else. Supporting the IHRA National Series, they've adjusted the schedule of the Durana Triple Fives event to June 12th through the 14th. This one right here caught me off guard because, well, spinning to one basis of the station that we're on, there's been a very, very bad rash of violence in Montgomery, and it's no secret lately.
Unfortunately, but yeah, you're right.
But in that part of town, that's what has me kind of eyebrow raised, because the track is over in a more industrialized part of town.
Yeah, it's all things being kind of equal, it's kind of remote in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's just it was surprising. But, you know, people that just absolutely don't care, thanks for ruining it for the people that do care.
You want to know why we can't get nice things?
There you go.
That's why we can't have nice things.
So it looks like now, well, if we want to see the IHRA, we either got to go to Memphis or go to Atlanta.
I got to admit, because you and I had the opportunity, we stopped by there as we were going up to the National Motorsports Press Association main conference, which happened in early February, Super Bowl weekend, to be real honest. And you decided to go ahead and let's go ahead and stop. And
because it is literally not even 2 miles right off of I-85.
And it was a chance for basically us to get up, stretch our legs, and, you know, hit the restroom, do whatever we needed to do, but to go and see the Atlanta Dragway facility. And for them to have a race scheduled at Atlanta Dragway at the end of this year, compared to what we saw in February, You want to talk about doing some massive work to that facility.
Jerry Reed, strike up the band.
Go get it, boys and girls. Go get it.
Long way to go and a short time to get there.
You got that right, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, yeah, I'm thinking Atlanta might be the place to go. Speaking of, since we're still into the area, I mean, Memphis could be fun.
I'm Memphis.
Memphis could be fun, too, but I really want to go to Atlanta. I want to see that transformation from February till the end of the stock car season.
No, I see where you're going.
Or drag racing season for the IHRA. Over to the NHRA, where congratulations are out to 2 NHRA racers, specifically Ron Capps and Angel Sampey. Their efforts in funny car and pro stock motorcycle, respectively, got them added not only to the NHRA's top 75 drivers list that was released earlier this year, NHRA celebrating their 75th anniversary. Capps, a 3-time funny car champion with 78 national event wins, is second all-time in the division behind John Force at 154. Sampey, 3-time Pro Stock Motorcycle Division champion, sits third on the division's all-time wins list with 46. They are amongst the 2027 class of inductees to the National Motorsports Hall of Fame. Not the International. That's out at Talladega. Talking about the National Motorsports Hall of Fame. Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, specifically.
That's in Daytona.
Yeah. So they're going to go in. They'll join a class that also includes USAC champion Gary Bettenhausen. Might remember him from Indycar of the old days. NASCAR's very own Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Robert Yates. 2 different reasons, by the way. Lynn St. James, who was the first woman ever to claim the honor of the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year. And there are 3 other people going in as well whose names you wouldn't recognize, but they're known for sports cars or helping manufacture or racing efforts. So congratulations to the entire class of 2027. Very, very well earned. No doubt about it. Then there's Bristol. They've got the Thunder Valley Nationals coming up. Very large on the calendar, by the way. But they're also working on a concrete surface of their own. Now, if you know Bristol Motor Speedway, you know that the dragway is basically right behind what, the backstretch?
No, that would be behind the...
I got myself all turned around, didn't I?
That would be behind turn 4.
Turn 4. Okay, thank you for being specific on that. That is also concrete. And they're redoing the concrete surface. And they state that it will be done in time for the upcoming race. So they're going full tilt. The right lane, they say, is now complete, poured, smooth. Pouring of the left lane got underway on Thursday. Smoothing should be complete as we air this morning. Race weekend coming up June 12th through the 14th.
I said this, pretty sure, I think I said this in the bold predictions section that we did at the start of the seasons, that NHRA would touch 350 this year. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Brand new concrete, smoothed out, everything ready to go. Get that traction going.
Here you go.
That might be something to watch. And then European Top Fuel champion Ida Zetterstrom, who producer John has a little bit of a crush on, I think, has her sets on conquering the United States in the same division. She's had a little bit of sponsor trouble, though. She came over last year. She did a really good job, but she hasn't raced so far this year. Sean Reed Racing, however, has announced that a company called Global SKU, has come on board to get her racing again. The team has announced she's going to start her 2026 season at Charlotte next weekend in the 4-wide Nationals at ZMAX Dragway, and it looks like this is going to be for the rest of the year. Very, very Scandinavian, blonde, let's just face it, attractive-looking woman. I can understand why producer John might have a little bit of a crush. I'm just going to say it. But yeah, congratulations to her, and congratulations to Sean Reed Racing to get everything back on track, literally and figuratively, to get her ready to race once again.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear that.
Yep.
All right. Then we were going to talk initially IndyCar as first up, so now we move them to second up. And IndyCar officials changing up qualifying for the remaining street course races when it comes to what they call their Fast Six aspect. Instead of putting all the qualifiers out on the course whenever they choose, instead the Fast Six is going to follow the format that they broke out at the very first Grand Prix of Arlington a couple of weeks ago. Single car, single lap qualifying. And if you are a longtime NASCAR fan, this should be familiar to you. You've seen this many times, especially if we go to Talladega. Now, traditionally, they do knockout rounds. And we saw this at Barbara Motorsports Park a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional knockout format, rounds 1 and 2, narrows the field down, first of all, to 12 and then to 6. But the knockout format is done, basically you go out in two groups. Group one goes out, they just go.
I thought they did at Barber 12-9-6.
I only remember 12-6.
I thought it was 12-9-6.
I don't know.
I may be backwards. I don't know.
But, well, you're also talking about two groups.
True.
You got a Group A and a Group B,
true.
so that may be
That's
where
true.
you're kind of coming up with that. But in the first round, everybody just goes out on the track together, and in the Fast 12, that was the same thing. You went out on the track basically whenever you wanted. Now they're going to specifically format this when it finally gets narrowed down to the Fast 6. So all of the cars get out there. They'll jump out on the course and try and go as fast as they can. Fast 12 will be the same way, but when you get down to the Fast 6, the fastest of those 6 will get to choose when they go out on the track. Quickest gets second choice, and so on. Once that order is determined, the cars will line up in the order that they're supposed to hit the track at pit exit, waiting for their qualifying event instead of waiting on their pit stalls. Only one car on the track at a time. The next car will be released only when the first car gets onto pit road entry. This will affect not only this weekend's Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach, but the races in Detroit, Markham, Ontario, Canada, which has taken the place of Toronto because of the World Cup coming to North America, and Washington, D.C., which are the final 4 street races of the 2026 season.
I like this.
I like it. I'm questioning whether this is a test balloon to see if they like it enough to keep it from now on, or whether they revert to it back to the old format in 2027.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
I have no problem
when you
with
get to the final 6. I mean, it turns it in now to more of a chess game.
Sure, yeah.
Because you got rubber laid down on the track, you got whatever the track conditions are, and then if let's say I'm I don't know, let's say
pick your spot.
Let's say I lay down second quickest time. John Bird lays down 1,000th quicker than me.
Way to kick it there, John.
Steve is a half 100th behind me. Okay. So there is, and John Myers, he's got a 10th. He lost a 10th on the lap, right? He got loose and lost a 10th on the lap. Okay. But we got us 4. And I'm going, okay, all right. I'm fastest going into the Fast 6, but I want to go out last. It's a chess game because you're sitting there saying, all right, he's wanting to sit there and see what everybody's got, and he wants to get his benchmark.
Yeah. Plus, you're allowing some other things to happen. You're figuring out what the conditions are.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching as the conditions kind of evolve over the course of time.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same way as going into overtime and winning the coin toss and figuring out whether you're going to go on offense or defense first. Right. Most of them will choose to go defense because they want to know whether they need to get a touchdown or a field goal.
Right. I mean, I think this is I don't think this is a bad thing.
No, I think it's actually a pretty good move. I like it. And the other thing about street courses is this. Sometimes you get into these little areas where, and I get it, Fox and whoever happens to be covering these races does a great job in placing cameras, but sometimes there are places that are a little bit harder to see.
Yeah, they are.
And to have the assurance that the car before you is on pit road entry, meaning the track is clear, you're comfortable as you're hitting that track knowing you've got clear track in front of you. You don't have anything to worry about.
And that's the right way to do it. I mean, when you're doing single car, single lap, instead of a group, you don't have to worry about your lap being impeded.
Yeah, and street courses are different from a road course, certainly an oval. An oval's very easy to be able to spot the whole track and figure out what's going on, even if you're talking Talladega as opposed to Bristol. You can still see everything pretty easily from the spotter stand. A road course is also very, very similar to that because you have strategic spots put out where you have spotters being able to tell, okay, track is clear.
Been there, done that.
Street courses are a lot different with those high concrete walls and everything, which is really the only thing separating you from sidewalks and grandstands.
True.
So it becomes a little bit more difficult to see.
Yeah.
So
I would not want to spot a street course.
I like it. I think it's a good move too. Speaking of testing, they're looking towards the future as well for IndyCar and Dallara. Tell you what, John Bird, let's go ahead and go to break here. They're getting ready to test the chassis here. We're going to let you know about that situation because this is important. because a whole lot of rules are going to change come 2028. It's not just the chassis, so is the engine. So the chassis is ready to be tested. Are the engines Chevrolet and Honda? And whoever else might be coming in? We'll talk about that right after this on CRN.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Take place in the nation's capital. President Donald Trump was big on making sure that they were able to get that going as kind of part of the celebration of the United States and our 250th birthday. But what else is there? Back to Doug Bowles. Says that he thinks that the possibilities practically endless. But his primary concern is kind of what keeps him grounded to many of the events that are currently on the schedule. He says this: where do we want to go that gives us the best chance to have a successful event in the market, as well as something that translates to a successful event on television? So when you look at it, people say, oh my gosh, that's a big deal. Never watched IndyCar before. How come all those people are there? Maybe they ought to go and go check these things out. These are the things that we, he says, have to do.
IndyCar's last race in Japan at Motegi was 2011.
Okay, so it is more recent than what I thought.
Yep.
Where could they be looking inside the United States? Now, obviously, they're growing from what used to be only one race in the southeastern portion of the country. It was in Tampa-St. Pete. Now we got Tampa-St. Pete. We got Barber. We got Nashville. It was on the streets of Nashville for a little while, but then the Tennessee Titans decided they needed a new stadium. So all that construction has stopped them being able to do that for at least the short time. They're running out of Nashville Superspeedway. Not bad for what is considered by even IndyCar to be NASCAR country. People have turned out at all three of these events to go watch them, and we've been to two of those three, so we know. Again, we talked about it. They just went back out to Phoenix. They're not, where do you go? If you were to look at a map of the United States and Canada and find the whole of where they're missing, it's the northeastern part of the United States. What's there? Watkins Glen. And I have made no bones about this. I'm an unabashed fan of Watkins Glen. I love the track. I've always liked the track. It's a personal favorite of mine. I get it. Some people don't necessarily agree. Have they raced at New Hampshire before?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I thought they had. So you got two tracks out there that they could run.
They have. This is hard to believe, but they have ran Dover. They have ran Dover.
And they've run Pocono, but I doubt seriously they're going to go back there, especially not after the Robert Wickens thing, which we're going to talk about in a moment.
More Justin Wilson than Robert Wickens.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. There's holdups, obviously.
True.
NASCAR being the first one. NASCAR owns Watkins Glen now. They would have to approve. Leave that right where it sits. Let's just say sometimes they get ticky. Possible return to Richmond in the Mid-Atlantic's also a possibility. Same situation regarding NASCAR. Talk of a Denver-based street race. But I don't know as that's as big of a hole in the map as the northeastern part of the country is.
Well, considering St. Pete that NASCAR came into their country, they should be able to go back into theirs. Because, let's see, the only ones that they race on Nashville, the only tracks that they share.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville, Indianapolis, Phoenix,
Worldwide Tech,
Gateway, yes.
NASCAR's not running Milwaukee Mile anytime.
Let me just.
They're not running Sonoma and IndyCar. They're running WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
You see.
And I know that the Truck Series joined them at St. Petersburg, but
Phoenix, Indianapolis, Gateway, Nashville. That's it.
It's not much. And, things have gotten to the point where with Roger Penske involved in both, they're able to work it out, generally.
Yeah, typically, but if you can't get something settled in the Northeast, there's one glaring one, in my opinion, that I think would probably be successful. It'd be Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Road Atlanta, because you can't, now the way this reconfigured, you can't take them to Echo Park.
No.
That would be Vegas times 2.
Phew. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to compare it that way, but it's the truth. That would be Vegas times 2.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. All right, when we come back, we'll wrap up our IndyCar chat here with thoughts and prayers out to the father of one of IndyCar's drivers. And we talked about Robert Witkins just a moment ago. In case you don't know the full story, there's a documentary coming out about him. We'll give you kind of the overview of it, and we'll talk about how everything has happened. Steve West along with Matt Nicholson in studio and on Talk 99.5, Real Talk 99.5 TV, also on CRN Live on YouTube. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, right down below, please do so. We appreciate it. Doesn't matter which YouTube you're on. We like subscribers to both. It helps us. Let's just put it that way. Also, our thanks to John Bird for being our producer in
Yeah.
studio, producer John, who is on CRN Live on YouTube. And thank you to you, our viewers and our listeners. We thank you so much. Prayers, as we're talking IndyCar, go out to Bob Power. Bob Power is the father of IndyCar driver Will Power. He was recently injured in an incident with a gunman in Australia. Gunman in Australia. Think about that for a second. Here's the base story. A 39-year-old, otherwise unnamed suspect went on an armed carjacking spree that started April the 4th. On April the 6th, he attempted to continue his 3-day crime spree when he came across Power. He talked about it with a local TV station afterward. He said, quote, "I was wrestling with him a little bit." No, I don't do an Australian accent. "I was wrestling with him a little bit, and I didn't want him to get in the car. He had his shotgun pointed at me. I said, 'Don't shoot me.' I opened the door up to get the dog out, and then the police arrived, and they pounced on him. It saved both the car and me. I was all right." They say Power was mostly uninjured, but, suspect shotgun was recovered at the scene. Huh. How's that gun ban in Australia working out for you, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
How often have we said,
Yeah, buddy.
if you ban guns, the only people that will turn the guns in are the people who follow the law? Point. Then there's the new documentary sent to be released soon about a paralyzed racer, talking about Robert Wickens. In case you are not familiar with this, and this is why IndyCar doesn't go to Pocono anymore. Wickens was paralyzed in an IndyCar crash at Pocono in 2018 when his racer got punted up into the air. It hit the catch fence in turn 2, ripped off everything. And this is what it's supposed to do. The car is supposed to come apart because it's supposed to dissipate energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it did what it was supposed to do, which effectively only left the tub that Wickens was sitting in, which would have been fine except for the fact that it landed flush on the pavement of the track and it severely injured discs in Wickens' back, and it basically paralyzed him. But he has since returned to racing. The documentary is set to be titled The Weight of Speed, produced by Mark Wahlberg's Unrealistic Ideas Company. It's going to give Wickens full racing history from his time as karting as a kid in Canada, then when he went over to Europe in the Formula One feeder series, a little bit of time in the German DTM sports car series, and then came back to the United States to run IndyCar, this life-changing accident, and his battle to return to racing. Currently, he's running in the DXDT racing team in their number 36 Corvette Z06 GT3R in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series. The documentary will get a private screening before they hit the track as part of this weekend's Acura Indy Grand Prix of Long Beach. Details on the wide release of the documentary have not been announced, but they will be soon. I want to see this.
I think it'll be good.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think it'll be good.
Because, I mean, you think about it, the battle is impressive enough, and then you think about sports cars and how they have to do certain things to allow people that don't have the facilities of all 4 of their limbs to be able to drive it properly. And in cases like endurance races, if you're, for example, since you're the resident driver, if you're the team on the team that has Robert Wickens, they have to change things out for you to get out of the car, him to get in, and for him to get out of the car and you to get in. It's all a very impressive kind of ballet, if you will, to get all of this done. It really is.
It's tough to describe what this setup looks like because it's so complicated. But I have seen a car set up with a paraplegic driver.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's all hand controls.
Mm-hmm.
All hand.
Yeah.
Clutch, brake, throttle, everything. Shifting.
No, it's
that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with your hands and plus control the car.
And control the car. Yeah,
at the same time.
And you sit there and say, well, I played, racing on Xbox or PlayStation 5 or iRacing.
It's different.
I got news for you. It's a lot different than that. So, yeah, once we find out when this thing is coming out and where you can see it, we'll let you know. All right, to the Cup Series. Alex Bowman's first race back in the Cup Series after his sitting out due to vertigo was Bristol. Ew. Talk about a test. How was it for Alex Bowman? He said afterward, frustrating. I bet. He made it to lap 160, and that's when he got involved in a multi-car crash that ended his day, by the way, not of his doing. I'll let you know that right up front.
Yep.
Bowman said after the fact, quote, "I'm fine, but obviously just a frustrating day. Do you come to one of your better places? And I don't know if we just misjudged it or what. I thought we were okay in practice. to start the race, but we were just in trouble. So bummer, we didn't get a chance to work on it, but ran really bad, then got caught up in somebody else's mess. Then he got asked about his prior bout with vertigo. Was he affected by that? He said, no, not really. He summed things up by saying this, quote, it was back to business, back to work. Hard to say that was a really fun thing, which is crazy because we're driving in circles. But when here, it's all that matters, and every little thing matters so much that a day like today is just a little too tough to have fun. I can imagine that. If you're having a bad day from the drop of the green flag, it's very difficult to have fun.
Understandably so, for sure.
But the fact that vertigo didn't affect him at Bristol, where the G-forces are...
That's a positive.
Yeah, that's big.
That's a positive.
So good for him. Glad to talk about it. As we have talked about here on the show, they are adjusting the stage lengths at Talladega in order to attempt to stop the fuel savings that the teams do. Yeah. All right. We didn't know details before. Monday, the details came out. From green flag to checkered flag, Talladega's 500-lap races are scheduled at 188 laps. 188 laps, 2.66 miles, translates into just over 500 miles. Monday, they said that the first stage will be 98 laps. And then stages 2 and 3 will each be 45. Now... we noted that a fuel run for the Gen 6 car at Talladega is about 35 or so green flag laps. So you might be asking, why 45? Well, here's the truth. If you know anything about stage breaks, you know that they're not going to get 45 green flag laps. They will hit the stage 1 green-white at 98 laps. It'll take them, 5-6 laps before they go back green?
They'll run at least 5.
So
they'll
that's
run at least 5.
40, 39, 40. Let's call it 40. 40 laps can be done without a stop. But guess what they're going to have to do that? Save fuel. See where we're going with this?
I
will give NASCAR credit for trying, but I see the holes in this already. So stage 2, not going to stop the fuel saving thing because they're going to want to try to go all the way through that stage without stopping, which means saving fuel.
All right. Here is my insanely monstrous problem with this entire thing.
Okay. Let me get to stage 3 real quick and tell you why it also won't work there. Because they're going to be worried about overtime. They're going to be saving fuel on the off chance that they have to go into overtime, and they, again, don't want to stop.
And it's a rare chance. Here of late, it's a rare chance that a race at Talladega does not go into overtime.
That's a very rare thing.
Very rare now.
But it's rare.
All right. But when Steve O'Donnell on Monday is on a Dirty Mo Media podcast, door bumper clear, and they asked him about this very thing when it got released. Is this going to fix the problem? When the NASCAR president looks at him and says, no, you've got a problem.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as this news came out, Matt and I basically looked at each other and went, ain't going to work. We know the hole in it. Steve O'Donnell knows the hole in it. And every single team and driver in the Cup Series knows it.
The first stage, if anybody, and this is pretty much a common theme for a lot of people that sit in the offices of either Charlotte or Daytona, if any one of them actually had a brain cell that worked and functioned, you would have made stage 1 118.
Mm-hmm.
Your last two
need to be shootouts.
35 and 35.
Yeah, they need to be shootouts.
35 and 35, that's that lap count. By the time you go back green, you're going to be anywhere 32 to 30.
Probably 30, truth be told.
Probably 30. I'm just benefit of the doubt in case they want to say, all right, let's go. That lap count
That guarantees you don't have to stop.
That's a bend the firewall lap count.
Yeah. They would plant it at that point in time because they know that they don't have to worry about gas,
That's
especially in that second segment.
That's bending the firewall. But 45, you're still going to be playing touch and go, which is stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. We're guaranteed on the assumption.
The lap count, that one lap count at Daytona, one of the stage counts for the 400 at Daytona, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think they did that perfectly. But, and I like the fact that both Talladega races remain at 500 miles. I don't really have a problem with that.
I don't either.
What I might do in order to kind of break it up, because you think about it, 98 laps, you're edging on the point of probably, I'm not saying, let's assume that it goes green the whole way. It's an assumption, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Let's assume for a moment that this actually goes green for the full 98 laps. You're guaranteed 2 green flag pit stops. Guaranteed in that first segment. Somebody might be bold enough to try and go on one, but I doubt it.
You would have to, you would be pushing it, and I mean pushing it, to go 49 laps.
Yeah. So I can almost guarantee you, if stage 1 at Talladega next weekend goes green the entire way, you're going to have 2 green flag pit stops. I don't see how you can avoid it. Somebody might be crazy enough to try it, but
somebody will.
You're going to be nuts.
But you're going to be sitting in, I'm going to say anywhere from 17th on back. Okay,
yeah, because you're gambling. You're hoping.
Here's why I say that.
You're hoping to flip the script.
Yeah, here's why I say that, because Dale Earnhardt Jr. got B.J. McLeod on his Dale Jr. download this week. He was talking to B.J. about I think it was this year's 500, if I'm not mistaken, or last year's, either one. It was last year. B.J. made the comment when they went into fuel saving, the fuel saving mode. He said, I got towards the back of the pack and I just locked in and rode and saved. He said, at one point I looked down and I was, brace yourself, 30% throttle.
And keeping up with the pack.
30% throttle at Daytona International Speedway.
Ouch.
That is pathetic.
But this is the unfortunate aspect of what we have at Daytona and Talladega. You know this as well as anybody does. You're always looking for an edge. You're always looking for some way to save here, there, or somewhere. And I get it. It's easy to go from last to first and first to last at Daytona and Talladega at the drop of a hat. But you're always looking for ways to save time. And if you can save a second on pit road because you don't have to fill the gas can or the fuel cell up as much because you didn't use as much, you're going to do it. It's that constant back and forth between the rules and the teams trying to figure out how to best use the rules to their advantage.
Here's the simple gist of it. And this is the best, simplest way that I can describe this. They have with this garbage Army tank car, they have turned this into entirely too much, like an F1 strategy race.
I agree wholeheartedly.
When you're supposed to, when the green rag flies, that's the saying that a driver's saying. When the rag flies, when that green rag flies, your right foot should be trying to bend the firewall into the back of the bell housing on the transmission.
Yeah, because your goal is to be the first person to get from the green flag to the checkered flag.
Simply put. But no, your crew chief wants to take control of the race. We got to save fuel. I'm out here riding, and when you go out there and you put an in-car camera on, you literally got a driver just riding.
Mm-hmm. They're bored.
One-handed. You should not have to be able to drive a car one-handed at Talladega, Daytona, or anywhere else.
And you hit on something, and I think you're very, very, very right about this. As a driver, your instinct is when the race is green, go. That's what green means. Same thing at a light. I see it on 280 and Highway 31 all the time. I see people that are sitting first at a red light, and as soon as that thing turns green, boom, and they take off just to get stopped at the next red light. Congratulations on wasting a gallon of gas.
It's a saying. It's a 3-letter acronym. BTF. Bend the firewall.
Yeah. You want to go. There is, it's frustrating, but there is something impressive to be said about a driver who has the control of looking down and going, I'm only running 30% throttle, and not slamming it down because that goes against what his team orders are.
And he says, I was losing my mind.
I bet.
I would be losing my mind too.
Sure. Because it goes against every fiber of your being as a race car driver.
It would make me want to go into interstate mode and just put my right hand on the wheel and just go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
You all right in there? Yep, I'm just riding.
So this ain't going to fix it. Again, NASCAR, by all means, go try stuff. I love it. Knock yourself out. Continue to try stuff. This ain't going to work.
Next year, when they bring preseason Thunder back, there better be something. Hit that racetrack.
Start throwing
where
everything
you
up against
force them to have to go elbows up.
Yep. Yeah. Got to do something that's going to force it to happen.
That seat is not a lazy boy recliner.
I mean, at this point in time, I'm of a mind, drop that spoiler down and put the 750 package in there.
I mean, at this point, what do they got to lose?
Let the drivers drive. That's what they're there for. Let them drive. That's why they're in the car. Wood Brothers number 21 going to have a new crew chief this weekend. Miles Stanley will not be in Kansas due to personal reasons. No, we don't know. And even if we did, I'm not going to put it out there because it's personal. In his place, Matt Swiderski. Not a bad guy to pull off of the bench. Veteran crew chief himself, got 3 wins under his belt. Daniel Suarez and A.J. Allmendinger, 1 with Daniel, 2 with A.J. He joined Wood Brothers before this season as the 21 Cars Performance Engineer Director, and now he will be the interim crew chief. Again, not a bad guy to pull.
No.
Not at all.
Solid.
2311 Racing gets another boost in a couple of ways. Winning the first 3 races of the year, going to kind of do that for you. Tyler Reddick has added a new primary sponsor for several races through the remainder of this year, Rockstar Energy Drink. And Rockstar has had a NASCAR presence before. Anybody remember the name Dylan Kwasniewski? I know Matt does, but most of you probably don't. It's been a while. It was more than a decade ago.
Now, Las Vegas real estate agent.
There you go. Rockstar's back with Reddick. In return, Reddick's going to be part of their new commercial campaigns along with digital and at-the-track content. And their first race as primary sponsor will be next weekend at Talladega. And this is interesting. I find this pretty interesting because this means that 2311 now has both Rockstar Energy Drink on Reddick's car and Monster Energy Drink, which has been a longtime partner of Riley Earpst on the 35.
They have Coca-Cola on the 23 and Celsius on the 67 of Corey Heim.
There you go.
That's called covering your bases, kids.
Pretty much. And then there's Team Penske. And John Bird, let's go ahead and let's run this break here because we're going to spend a little time on this. The 12 pit crew, as we talked about an hour ago during the race recap, has not been on their game this year. So they're going to make a change. Now, how bad has the team been? We'll detail it for you. What changes are they making, and how is it affecting all the other teams? Because it will. We'll let you know that as well after we get back from this break here on CRN.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
Indeed. Welcome back into the show. Steve West, Matt Nicholson here. Thank you very much for joining us. We do appreciate it. By the way, phone lines are open. 205-545-9950. We'll take your phone calls. We're up for it. Also, want to say a big thank you out to Siluria Brewing Company in Alabaster. Was out there last night. Speaking of hosting. There. Yeah, I'm everywhere. What do you want? But that's my regular Friday night weekly spot, and had a great time out there. Saw Danny last night. He showed up in celebration. They've got full ownership now. Everything's good. It's all under Danny's name. Congratulations to you, Danny, and thank you very much for jumping on board. Music trivia is just one of the things that they got tonight. Tonight at Siluria Brewing Company Wrestling. Starts at 7 o'clock. Going to be a good time. Come on. Let's go. Plus, they got all kinds of other great stuff out there. Siluria Brewing Company is a great place to go. You're looking for locally craft brewed beers. They do some wine. They've got some ciders as well. And it's in the old Alabaster Post Office, so nice, roomy, big area out and back, which is where the wrestling, I'm sure, is going to take place. Going to have a good time out there. Siluria Brewing Company, 145 First Avenue West in Alabaster. Go check it out. Siluria Brewing Company, thanks to Danny and all the crew out there for everything that they do for us at CRN, and truth be told, for me on Friday nights, because I'm here to tell you, we get some pretty big crowds. Last night was what I would call a normal crowd, 10, 12 teams. Last week had 17.
Whew.
So, hey,
nice.
If you're into any kind of music trivia on Friday nights, regular trivia on Tuesday nights, it's all kinds of fun. Have a great time out there. All right. So we were talking about Team Penske and the troubles that they are having. And they're just not going to be happy. The captain's not going to be happy with this. I mean, this is the team that has won 3 straight championships, 2022 and 2024 with Joey Logano. In the middle was Ryan Blaney. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be happy if the pit crew is not top-notch.
Nope.
Blaney himself, here's the funny thing about it. Blaney himself is doing well, but you ask how much better he might be doing if his pit crew didn't head into the Kansas race ranked 35th out of the 36 chartered pit crews. How is this ranked? They pulled down an average pit stop of over 12 and a half seconds. What should an ideal pit stop be of 4 tires and gas with this car?
Now, 9.5.
That's 3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. They have lost, since Daytona, they have lost Ryan Blaney 88 spots on pit road. So again, think about some of Ryan Blaney's results. Remember, he's second in points?
Yeah.
How much better would he be doing if the team was at least just average?
88 spots is ridiculous.
It is. For a top-notch crew?
Yeah.
So the team's changing up the crew. Graham Stoddard will come in as the new Jackman on the 12. He's replacing Landon Honeycutt. Honeycutt moves over to the 21 of Josh Berry of Wood Brothers. I'm sure Josh is thrilled. Stoddard, however, comes over from Front Row Motorsports, the number 4 for Noah Gragson. Gragson will have the former Rick Ware Racing crew, Jackman Tommy Beebe, handling the raising and lowering of his car. As to what happens after that, because we're still missing somebody somewhere, aren't we? What happened to the previous Jackman on the 21 car? We don't know. Maybe he went to Rick Ware.
Probably so.
All of the problems, from what I can tell, the main part of the problems have come on the left side of the 12 car. Loose tire, having problems with the jack, whatever. Okay, we've solved the jack problem. Have we solved the loose tire issue?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure.
And I can say this. The two may not necessarily be unrelated because you're the driver. As the driver, you're trained, jack drops, you go, right?
Unless the crew chief or the car chief says, go on me.
Okay. Otherwise, you're trained to, car hits the ground,
you're
go.
Gone. You're gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if, and, sorry, Landon, but I'm going to throw you under the bus. You're the former Jackman on the 12 car. What if Landon is being a little bit too anticipatory and he's dropping the jack before the tire changer has fully tightened that lug?
That's a very distinct possibility because your timing and your instinct, most of them that I've seen, they're looking straight and they're using their peripheral vision.
Right.
Down to each corner of the car, on the rear and the front. And when they're seeing boom and they're listening for, I'm gonna say 3 Uggs.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
you're starting to drop you're dropping on the second, and by the time the third one hits, car's on the ground.
yeah. And ideally tight.
Ideally tight. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a realistic possibility. His instincts may be just a little bit too quick.
So it could be that the Jackman might have been, to use the term, the problem.
Likely.
Okay.
Likely.
We'll see whether or not that's true. Annual NASCAR All-Star Race moving to Dover Motor Speedway this season for the first time ever. I'm still kind of questioning that aspect of it, but we'll see. One aspect that will not change is the fan vote that will allow the fans to put one driver in who otherwise wouldn't qualify for the race. Now, race winners since last All-Star race, they're automatically in. We know that. There is a chance through the All-Star Open for 2 other drivers to race their way in, and then there's that fan vote where a third driver gets in. Noah Gragson's won the fan vote the past 3 years, and over its time, only one driver who's won the fan vote has gone on to win the race. That was when Casey Kane did it back in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That's now open, by the way. You can go on to NASCAR.com right now, and you can actually start voting. 1 vote per day per email address, meaning if you have multiple email addresses, yeah, you can stuff the ballot box. And a lot of people do.
Yeah, they do.
Speaking of nitpicky, weren't we talking about that when it came to NASCAR earlier? The case of Joe Gibbs Racing versus Chris Gabehart is getting into the realm of being nitpicky, too. JGR officials have pictures of Gabehart at Bristol wearing a team headset, one that did not have a microphone, by the way. And they're using that to claim that Chris Gabehart is in violation of the court's temporary restraining order. This restraining order states that Gabehart can act as a senior executive for Spire Motorsports, but he cannot be a participant in Cup competition decisions, only decisions for the organization's O'Reilly and or Truck Series decisions as applicable.
If that headphones had a microphone to it, different story.
Mm-hmm. JGR officially is accusing Gabehart of making competition director decisions, but context is very important, and just being there and seeing a picture doesn't mean squat. Gabehart's simple response to the allegation was that he was on hand in a role similar to that of, say, Hendrick Motorsports VP Jeff Gordon or Joe Gibbs owns Dave Alpern. In other words, as an executive, not involved in any competition decisions in the Cup Series. His official response to the court read in part, quote, "It is an improper attempt to introduce surveillance photos as evidence outside of the briefing schedule. Unable to substantiate its claims, Joe Gibbs Racing has resorted to stalking Mr. Gabehart at racetracks, then rushing to this court to spin routine behavior into suggested misconduct. The court should give this filing no weight." Good God, people, figure it out and let's be done. I am so done with court cases in NASCAR. Am I the only one?
No, I'm the second one.
I mean, am I wrong, or is this feeling like it's just getting downright nasty?
It's getting stupid.
Professionalism's right out the window here.
Yeah, it's getting stupid.
O'Reilly Auto Parts Series news, only one bit of news here, and it actually does involve last Saturday night, lap number 190 of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Mason Maggio was running down on the apron, smoke barreling out from underneath the car, so you knew the engine has expired, right? He was able to get the car turned down onto pit road and behind the wall when the car bursts into flames. Maggio was trying to scramble out of the car as the rear end got covered in flames. Crew member from Junior Motorsports flew into action, Mark Hollywood Armstrong, along with one other unidentified crew member from Peterson Motorsports, jumped into the action, helped him out of the car as they started to also work on the fire. Maggio gave a thumbs up afterward. The safety crew was on the spot. They extinguished the fire finally, and after he got checked out in the infield care center, Maggio confirmed he was fine. Something like this, though, I'll put you in this driver's seat. Your response to this, I mean, you know your engine's expired. You know that there's the possibility of this, but you don't know exactly what's going on under the hood. But you know there's the possibility of, what, oil?
Oh, yeah.
Getting sprayed onto the exhaust or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, the engine apparently threw a rod or swung a rod cap, busted a hole in the oil pan. oil gets on headers, ignites.
There you go.
You know,
And the fact that 2 pit crew members from teams not even affiliated with the 91 car jumped in and said, this is the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. No doubt.
Fantastic job on their part. Oof. Yee. Looking at that picture on CRN Live on YouTube. And I'm the one that grabbed the picture. That's just ugly. And that's the start. That's not even the car fully engulfed. Speaking of fan votes, NASCAR fan vote for the 2027 NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee class now open at NASCAR.com/Hall of Fame. This allows you, the fan, to have your say as to who you believe needs to be part of the next class. Voting actually began on Tuesday. It's going to run through noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time on May the 17th, so you've got a month to go here. You can choose 2 nominees from the Modern Era ballot, 1 from the Pioneer ballot. We talked about the nominees 2 weeks ago, our first show here on Talk 99.5. Kind of like the fan vote, you can vote once per day per email address, so you can stuff the ballot box. I'll do it. I'll take part in it. I do it every single year. Still haven't figured out who exactly I'm going for, especially on that Modern Era, because that's a tough trio to pick.
This one's one of the tougher ones.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the tougher ones in a long time. Some of the other ones have just been slam dunks. You're like, yep, this one and this one.
Yeah.
This one's a tough one, man. Good luck. As for the latest news regarding Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, think about it. This was once a center of NASCAR activity. Things get more and more difficult out there. You were talking about going out there last week. Instead, you ended up going to the Abbey Awards with me. Cars Tour was coming out.
Paid off, too.
Yeah, it did. How difficult are things, you might wonder? Well, NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell also appeared on the Door Bumper Clear podcast this week talking about the efforts to bring NASCAR back there and said of it, it's an uphill battle. His words, not mine. He said, quote, Nashville's one of our most historic tracks. We'd love to be there. We'd love to be in both places. Nashville, both Nashville Superspeedway in Lebanon and Nashville Fairgrounds. It's a great market, obviously, he continued. Got a lot of hardcore fans there. I was glad to see the Cars Tour go there. It was a great crowd, which was awesome. Hopefully it builds a little more momentum, gets Nashville stock car racing back in the limelight, especially from the media. But listen, it's been a weekly dialogue. I know SMI is trying to get there, but it's been an uphill battle, which I don't understand. When you think about the noise and everything, they've got concerts at nearby Geodis Park. This is the soccer stadium that's literally right up behind Nashville Fairgrounds Superspeedway.
Behind turn 1.
And technically between where the racetrack is and the neighborhood, where those moronic people who moved into the neighborhood with a racetrack already in existence go, it's too loud. You're the one that moved into a neighborhood with a racetrack.
All right. I think I'm going to make John Bird laugh with this one really, really loud.
Okay, you've got his attention.
They had literally last year when they were complaining about all this stuff. Looks like he's got a phone coming in or something.
All right. Yeah, we do. All
Yep.
right. We'll get him.
Last year, they had somebody that complained about the noise ordinance that they could not turn their TV up to 10.
10.
10.
I can turn that TV on.
How deaf do you have to be?
Yeah. That TV right there goes to 100.
We had to turn our TV up to 10. When was your TV made? 1937?
That's what I was.
That's
thinking.
crazy.
My God, the horror.
Jeez.
My ears.
Again, this racetrack was there long before they built any home near there. You're the one that moved into a neighborhood with a racetrack. That's on you.
And a soccer stadium now.
Yeah. And then you approved a soccer stadium, which hosts not just soccer games, but concerts.
Yeah.
Hello. It's on you.
Yep.
This isn't on them. It's on you.
Nope.
Good night almighty. Our good friend Matt Murphy used to be on the mornings here at Talk 99.5. He's now up in Nashville. He and I have had chats, conversations, texts back and forth. This has been one of his pet projects as well, because he is of the exact same mindset. You're the one that moved into a neighborhood that has a racetrack in it, and you're going to complain about the racetrack's noise. It was there before you.
That runs one time a month.
And he is 100% on board. with limitations. I get it. You put limitations on it. You can't run past a specific time. I remember that rule out at Birmingham International Raceway. We couldn't run past, I want to say it was 10 o'clock on Fridays and 11 o'clock on Saturdays. That's an understandable rule. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Put rules like that in place. The track will conform to them. But you want to erase, like the morons here in Birmingham did back when it happened, a century's worth of history from Nashville Fairgrounds? We can't do anything about Birmingham International Raceway anymore. But they can about Nashville because it's still there and it's still full of that history. And as opposed to the Tennessee Titans' new stadium, as opposed to, I got news for you, Major League Baseball's looking at expansion. Nashville's a leading market. Guess what they're going to have to build? A Major League Baseball ready stadium. Do you think the owner of the team is going to do that by him or themselves? No. They're going to do it just like the Titans did and put it on the people of the city of Nashville and the state of Tennessee. On the other hand, Nashville Fairgrounds, SMI, Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, the other big owner of tracks in NASCAR, has said they'll foot the bill to renovate Nashville Fairgrounds. Not one red cent on the taxpayers. How often does that happen with a sports facility?
Rare.
Very rare. But yet they're going to complain about that and not bitch, moan, and complain about what's going on with the Titans or a potential baseball team. It's on you guys. Phone lines are open, 205-545-9950. I see you, late model Mark. What I'm going to do is ask John Bird to go ahead and go to break here, get our final break out of the way. We'll talk to Mark when we come back. We'll talk to you when we come back. And we got some Formula One news as well. Final segment of the show. This edition of CRN coming up right after this break.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network. go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Oh, if only we talked about the things that we talk about behind the scenes that we could put on the air.
Woo!
Or maybe not. Welcome back into the show.
Yeah, maybe not.
Appreciate you joining us. Steve West, Matt Nicholson, John Bird, John Myers, thank you all very, very much for listening and or checking us out on CRN Live on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe there. Real Talk 99.5 TV on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe there if you have not already. And if you have, please tell your friends and your neighbors and your friends' neighbors and your neighbors' friends and everybody else you can get to. Do it! Also, Cat and Bird Winery, Siluria Brewing Company, thank you both very much for coming on board. We've got working with somebody else new here real soon, hopefully to have them on board. And if you would like to be part of the show and a sponsor of the show, feel free. Give us a call. Same number, 205-545-9950. John Bird will take down your information. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can go on to team@crnradio.us and send us an email. And producer John will make sure that I get that forwarded to me as well.
Speaking of calls, something we ain't done in a long
I
time.
know. Last couple of homes for this particular show, we haven't actually been able to take calls, but we can. And our debut caller is no less than the PA announcer and the main announcer at Talladega Short Track Late Model. Mark, how are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty dang good. Good morning to you, boys. Before I get to my main point and my soapbox today, don't forget about that weasel who owns the soccer stadium next to the Nashville Fairgrounds. There was a big documentary in our local news about that weasel,
Yep.
and he's a problem there, but I'm hoping the best for National. My main point is I was disappointed not only once, but disappointed twice this morning. The first one is I had tickets for the IHRA deal down in Montgomery, hotel rooms, time off. And
you had the whole deal
going. Drag racing, being the drag racing is my first love. I have a lot of contacts, even now in Alabama, and I have a gentleman that told me about that race where they had the shooting, and this was his words. He called it a ghetto grudge race, and there's more to the story than what we're hearing. What the story is, I don't know, but he says there's more to the story. So I'm very disappointed. I haven't smelled any nitro in about 5 or 6 years, and I was ready. So,
well, I was supposed to get my baptism there because Matt and I have tried, but just scheduling didn't quite work out on going to a couple of different NHRA races. We were going to go down there as well, and this was supposed to be my indoctrination into nitro racing, and somebody screwed it up.
Yes, they did. And I'm not a fan of 8th mile racing, but I got to see some nitro, so I would go down there and overlook the shorter distance. You know what I mean?
I get you.
The second disappointment is I was all ready to go to the American Radio Outlaw Nationals at Steel today. I mean, they're paying $25 and $15 and a couple of 10Ks for the division.
Ooh,
and I guess they got scared of rain, and they put eliminations to 9 a.m. this morning. And
wow.
I'm working, so I'm goofed up on that too. So I'm a little bummed out.
Welcome to Mother Nature, though. If you want to get some rain in an area, hold a major race.
True. That is true.
Absolutely. But I'm looking forward to next weekend. We've got the World of Outlaw late models coming into Talladega with the #1 rated super late model driver in the United States, Bobby Pierce.
There you
and
go.
My favorite dude since Scott Bloomquist died is going to be there. And I'll be going to the race on Sunday, so I'll be listening to you, Steve.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's always the fun part about it, late model Mark, is the fact that Talladega Short Track and Talladega Super Speedway, you think that they are two totally separate things, but at the same time, it's a great combination of being able to watch a full weekend of racing. Anytime there's racing at the big track, you guys put on a fantastic show at the short track on Friday and Saturday nights.
Thank you very much. And our American Big Rig race last Saturday night was an absolute out-of-the-park home run, total success, and the people absolutely loved it.
Fantastic.
You guys keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks when you go back live.
Sounds great. Appreciate you, Mark, very, very much. Yeah, again, don't overlook what Talladega Short Track is going to be doing next weekend.
And there is a Cup driver that is going to be infiltrating the dirt track.
Just one?
As of now.
Okay.
Carson
I was about to say,
Hocevar.
I'll be a little surprised if it stops at just one.
Carson Hocevar is
Okay.
coming.
That ought to be interesting.
Yep.
All right, final series. I do believe it's the final series that we're covering. Yeah, it is. All right, Formula One. Over the course of history, let's look at it this way, and it really doesn't matter what the series is. some drivers are able to bend the ear of the highest up executives. Think Dale Earnhardt and Bill France Jr., for example.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you that A.J. Foyt had the ear of whoever was heading IndyCar at any point in time.
Yep.
Is Max Verstappen that guy in Formula One right now?
Ooh.
I can't guarantee it, and I'll tell you why. He shouldn't, even though he's a 4-time champion in Formula One, he shouldn't go off thinking he's got just carte blanche to speak off and spout about whatever, whenever, and however. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali talked to media this week over in Europe, talked about several subjects, and when the thoughts of drivers like Verstappen getting into these new regulations for this season came up, Domenicali said that he understands that some drivers have frustrations. He gets it. But then he cautioned specifically the Red Bull driver to understand that his comments about the series being made so public that ramifications of those comments could severely hurt Formula One. Now, Formula One is a world traveling series.
Yeah.
It is probably the most popular motorsport series in almost every other country other than the United States. Or maybe I'll just say North America.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. It is trying to get a foothold here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
On average, the average Formula One race gets about half the viewership of the average Cup race. It'll vary depending on the race and what outlet it happens to be viewed on. But as a general rule, Formula One is battling right in the area with IndyCar for the number of viewers that they get, and they're all about half the viewership of an average Cup Series race.
Yeah, it's close.
So they're trying to build something of a fan base here in the United States that might last long term. But the truth of the matter is if you got the drivers within it kind of being a poison pill, in the long run, that can hurt.
It can.
We shall see whether or not this happens. Verstappen has said that the changes for 2026 have made Formula One akin to, quote, playing Mario Kart. On another occasion, he said it felt like anti-racing. And he also has said that it felt more like, quote, Formula E on steroids, which, by the way, that caught the attention of the executives of the all-electric series who said that F1 was trying to be too much like them. Maybe they've got a point, maybe they don't, but here's the thing. Domenicali, in talking to Autosport.com, continued along by saying, quote, I think that with Max, we have spoken many, many times since the beginning. We do understand that, and I understand his comments, and he understands the bigger picture. Even today, he's been in a meeting where he was very keen to give suggestions, so I don't want to fall into the trap of trying to create an antagonism because that's not me. It's not the way that we want to see it. So we are going to be together. He's the best driver. Questionable, but okay, well, I'll run with his words. He's a world champion, a multiple world champion, and of course he has the voice that has to be listened to, but he knows that his voice also has weight. He needs to respect that weight because sometimes people can take it the wrong way, and this is something we should not allow to happen. So let's go back to the Dale Earnhardt or the A.J. Foyt examples. At some point in time, didn't Bill France look at Dale Earnhardt and go, I've got your point, don't go too far? Or did IndyCar at some point in time look at A.J. Foyt and rein him in too?
I'm sure they did. I mean, whoever out of the George family that was running IndyCar at the time, I'm sure they probably said the same thing. Just hang on a minute now.
Yeah, hold your horses. Let's not get too rowdy. Let's see if we can work on it. Now, as for Max's threats about quitting F1 after the season, his father, Jose, who's a former F1 driver himself, said he feels that despite the loud complaining and now the loss of the only race engineer he's ever worked with at Red Bull, talked about that last week, he will likely be in F1 for the foreseeable future. Told European media, quote, I think things have changed, especially after 4 championships. You've achieved a lot together. The last one is up to Max, but I think he will continue. But back to Domenicali, who also talked about the potential changes in these new for 2026 regulations. Last week, we talked about how they're going to have a couple of meetings this month, and then they're going to go and grab all the teams and all the drivers, all the team principals and such, and they're going to talk about what changes they could make as this season goes on, because maybe they went a little bit too far. Maybe the 50-50 split between the hybrid system and the internal combustion engine is a bit too far. But is that the ultimate fix? And so they're going to do about this. But he said notably about the drivers who are complaining, he and other F1 executives are listening. He wants to remind them they are among a select few who drive in the series, so be careful about what you say and how you say it. You're one of 22, and if you don't ever want to be part of that 22 ever again, say the wrong thing. I guess that's the way I'm looking at it anyway.
That's what it sounds like, but that's too much of the politically correct way of trying to say that.
Probably, yeah. Then there's Cadillac. Their test driver, former IndyCar driver Colton Herta, currently racing also in Formula 2, has finally been told what his F1 practice schedule is going to look like because he's continuing to work towards his F1 super license. Hopefully, he will be the next American driver. That's his hope. It's Cadillac's hope that he'll be the next American-born driver to run in Formula 1. He's going to drive for the second American-based team, Cadillac, Haas F1, in a free practice session number 1 in Spain prior to the race at Barcelona. Then he'll get 3 more sessions, taking the place alternatively of either Valtteri Bottas or Sergio Perez, the full-time drivers for Cadillac. The last 3 times he'll climb into the F1 car, in addition to whatever test and or Formula 2 duties he'll have on those weekends, will be decided as the year moves along. But in the meantime, you might get a chance, if you can afford an F1 ticket, to check him when he gets to the U.S. or to Canada. Formula 1 and Formula 2 get back into action next month. Those April races that got canceled also affected Formula 2's races in those 2 spots, so they rescheduled them. They've added the races in Miami and Canada, and this might be one of the few times Formula 2 has ever come to the United States of America. So good on them. By the way, also, if you want to watch the Miami Grand Prix the first weekend of next month, but you don't want to spend the money to get a subscription to Apple TV, there is an option, or 2. There's a sports bar, if they're showing it. But you could go to Apple TV, in a deal with Apple TV, select IMAX theaters around the country are going to be showing the race, and select other races. Tickets are on sale now for the Miami Grand Prix on the IMAX website. Price is $30. The viewer gets about 15 minutes of the pre-race show and the entire race, and then the post-race celebration up to the podium celebration for the top 3 finishers. This will be the first of 4 races they're going to collaborate on. Monaco will be up next, British Grand Prix, an Italian Grand Prix, and then finally the U.S. Grand Prix.
Solid.
Not a bad choice at all.
Solid.
Thank you very much for joining us here on this edition of CRN. Thanks to John Bird. Thanks to producer John. Thanks to all of you, our viewers and our listeners on CRN Live on YouTube and or Real Talk 99.5. Again, don't forget to subscribe. And once again, I'm just going to be the huckster that I am. If you would like to sponsor us, get in touch with us. John Bird will take your information and I'll call you back, or team@crnradio.us. Y'all have a fantastic week here on the flagship. Shop Talk's up next. Y'all have a fantastic Saturday. Enjoy the racing. We'll talk to you on Cross Flags on Tuesday.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.